Okay, there's two areas of rugby union that I think need some discussion, and here's my views on them. And these are subjective, and not everyone's going to agree with my point of view, and I completely accept that. And that's what the comment section is for. There's two areas where, at the moment, I'm not a fan of what World Rugby has done. Now, first area I've already discussed 2 years ago, the Men's Rugby World Cup in France with the TMO review system for yellows and reds. What they've done in the subsequent 2 years up to this point is bring in the 20-minute red card. I was already critical of the TMO review system because while rugby wants to speed up play, have the ball in play for longer, less stoppages, this review system kills momentum of the game dead. Absolutely kills momentum of the game dead. And the on-field officials are now relying a lot more on the TMO to make decisions for them. I've noticed a lot of these so-called high tackles. They're not. The referee should, if they've seen that, and the TMO's also seen that, they should stop the play earlier. Sometimes we're going back 9, 10 phases for then a review to take place for a player to be sin binned. So that if they want to speed up the game and speed up officiating and get decisions right. If the TMO's picked something up and it's in the referee's ear, the referee should stop the play a lot sooner rather than let play go on 8, 9, 10 phases. That's a first up. For a high tackle or an illegal clear out. Any kind of illegal head contact. You're not going to get head contact out of the game. This is where I think World Rugby are living in la la land, and are very naive in how they're trying to mitigate head contact. Every ruck, maul and collapse scrum, you're going to have head contact. It's not going to get taken out of the game. World Rugby are reacting to the CTE lawsuits and player welfare lawsuits that a lot of contact team sports and individual contact sports like boxing and MMA are facing. They are being very reactionary rather than proactionary. Now, the 20-minute red card, I don't think that's necessary because I do think with the off-field review, in years past, before the TMO review system was brought in for yellows and reds, if the referee's seen something, potential foul play, or has been alerted by his touch judges or the TMO, they would obviously look at the replays, and then the on-field officials would listen to what the TMO said, and then also and quite firmly come to their decision. Now, if they've seen that in actual time as well, and they want to double check things, and they're there on the spot, and there've been a lot of good referees who are very, very good at picking up this kind of stuff. They were very assertive. Now we're seeing referees become less assertive and more cautious. They seem to be relying heavily on the TMO to basically make the decision for them, and they're letting play go on these multiple phases, and then it gets brought back. So a try could be scored, and then it's disallowed because of foul play in the build-up. A try could be scored, and the defending team again. We then have to waste more time, have a review, so the restart of play takes longer, or the conversion takes longer. So you stop the momentum of the game. Then the review system, when that review's been done, because they've got up to 10 minutes, sometimes it's done really quick. Even then, as soon as the review's been completed, the referee's got to stop the game again, or find a break in play to then bring both captains over, even though they've already explained to both captains why that sin bin has been given, and then go, it's staying the same or it's been upgraded to a 20-minute red. The thing is, we don't need a 20-minute red, because red cards are still given in the game. That's what's ironic. We don't need this middle ground. World Rugby's thinking is, we don't want to disadvantage the side that loses the player to the red card for the rest of the game, just 20 minutes. We're now sort of bringing in layers of sanction that the game doesn't need. The review system, some of the decisions we've seen in the Women's Rugby World Cup so far have taken a very long time to get to a decision to go, it meets the threshold or it's just a penalty. And then it as I say, kills the momentum of the game dead. And sometimes, as I say, they're going 8, 9, 10 phases. Then they're bringing it back for the foul play. Then they've got to faff around after they've done the review, find the mark to then give the penalty. And suddenly, there was one game where it overran, and the next guy, I was trying to do the match review, and then the next game's already started. I was like, this is really overrun, and that was really annoying actually. But they even in commentary said, because the last game overran on the TV slot, we're a little bit behind in the build-up. The kickoff's just about to start. And the TV companies or the broadcasters must be ripping their hair out with this, with some of these games taking a lot longer because of all these reviews. And that's not even getting onto the goal line dropouts when a player's held up over the line, which I think they've got that rule completely wrong. It takes away the attacking team's advantage. giving the ball back to the defending team to then hoof it down the other end. And some players can drop kick it 70 metres in the men's game. Women's game, not necessarily as far. But if Francois Steyn in his prime, if they had this rule when Francois Steyn was playing, he can drop kick 70 metres and some. Can you imagine how that's going to be deflating for the attacking team? They've been held up over the line, and then you've got a player potentially of the calibre of Francois Steyn who can do a drop goal from 70 metres and clear the bar. If he can do that, suddenly you've got to start in your 22 and attack in your 22. Get all your players back on side behind the attacking player. And it completely nullifies the attacking side's momentum. And when you've got someone of in the commentary booth like Brian Moore, of that standing in the game, a great international front row forward back in his day, he's been doing commentary for a long time, he's seen the game evolve as well, and he's kept up to date with all the law changes. When he's saying, rugby league do it better, when you're held up over the line, the attacking team retains possession, admittedly on the 10 metre line, but they retain possession and are allowed to continue their attacking phase of play. When he's saying rugby league do it better, that's probably a sign rugby union have got it wrong, because very rarely does a rugby union commentator or former player go rugby league do it better, because rugby union looks down its nose at rugby league and they're not big fans of the other code. But when the rival code, the other code of rugby, does it better, I think they got that one wrong. I think it used to be a 5 metre scrum. Potentially, if you want to take it back to 22 and have a 22 tap free kick, where the attacking side is still in the attacking zone, still have possession, I would be okay with that. The reason why that rule was brought in to stop those little pushover tries where it was constant pick and goes, because apparently that's an ugly part of the game that isn't necessarily exciting. Fans love that. It was designed to make that less of an attractive option for forward packs and attacking teams, just to go pick and go. They want to see that expansive play and the highlight reel tries that the outside backs do. Some of those pick and go tries and then that titanic defence team might put up are actually really engrossing. As a fan, you like that kind of defensive battle where the defending team are holding on for dear life against, a very highly motivated forward pack who are bashing against that line, and sometimes the outside or inside centre comes in for a big carry, and it's basically about a battle of dominance on the physical contact. That's brilliant. That's why we like watching and playing the game. To then say to the attacking team, oh yeah, the opposition can boot it up to 70 metres down the field, or if they've got a kicker who can drop kick a spiral, like a Gary Owen, literally just straight up in the air, that can go about 10-15 metres and make it a contest with his team, it becomes a lottery, at which point the attacking team has lost that attacking advantage and all that momentum they've had is gone. I think Brian Moore's right on that one. I'm not a fan of the goal line dropout when a player's held up over the line. I think they've got to come in where they either give it a 22 metre tap to the attacking team or bring back the 5 metre scrum. I really do. Simply because the attacking team has not been rewarded for basically getting over the try line with possession. They've lost that, and I think that's wrong, and it kills the momentum and gives a momentum swing, because if that defending team, as I say, have a very good kick specialist who can drop kick basically a Gary Owen spiral straight up in the air and make a contestable spiral bomb that can just drop about 10 to 15 metres out, where his players or her players can charge forward and contest the ball, yeah, they've got that one wrong. The 20-minute red card I don't think is necessary. I think the TMO system, they need to be quicker and alerting the referee there's been foul play and stop the play sooner rather than letting it go multiple phases to then bring the play back. They also need to speed up that review process. If they're going to have a yellow-red card review, it needs to be sped up. But personally, I think if on the field, if it's a yellow, it's a yellow. On the field, if it's a red, it's a red. And even then, we've seen a lot of these red cards at the Men's World Cup 2 years ago and at this current World Cup potentially get overturned with the citing commission. They get overturned. I'm not a fan of it, but there are those who think that it is a potentially good law change, and that their views are valid and their arguments are valid. But for me, I think it disrupts the flow of the game. It kills a lot of the momentum. And then we're waiting around sometimes for lengthy spells. There was one over the weekend where it took a good five or so minutes to resolve the replay issues, the review, and then come to a decision to sin bin the player. Then they've got to find the mark, and it just in my opinion, it just really killed the momentum of the game, disrupted the flow of the game at a time when World Rugby is trying to get the ball in play for longer and reduce penalties and free kicks and speed up play. That just does exactly the opposite. And I think these are two areas that the game needs to clear up. The other area is the not straight line out. When the defending team or the team that defending the line out doesn't compete, oh yeah, you can throw it as squint as you want. I don't like that, because then you know, it's only when you compete, oh, suddenly it's not straight. Oh dear, no. Don't like that one either. There's areas where I think World Rugby have definitely got some of the law changes wrong, and I think the officiating. I've got mixed views on the officiating at this World Cup so far, and at the Six Nations as well with the 20-minute reds since they've been brought in. I've got mixed views on the over reliance on the video ref to basically. It's making the on-field refs less assertive and more cautious in giving decisions as well. They're waiting for the video ref to tell them something, and so they're now. While the game has sped up, I think it weakens not the authority. Maybe it does weaken the authority of the on-field ref a little bit, and it makes them less assertive, which is not what you want. You want your on-field officials to be assertive. If they do cock it up, they're going to cock it up. They're human, but you want them to be assertive and confident. I think it's making them a little bit less confident and less assertive. But that's my views on the 20-minute red card and the goal line dropout. I'm also not a fan of the line-out changes as well, with squint line-outs not being straight, and also still wonky feeds at scrums as well. I think the scrum needs fixing as well, with the scrum I was actually putting it in straight and both hookers actually trying to hook the ball. That would be nice. It's not going to happen. There's areas where World Rugby need to fix things, and then there's other areas where they've just made it more complicated than it needs to be, and I think they've made some errors in regards to some law changes, some big errors. But we shall see if they then in coming years review the TMO review system and the goal line dropout, and how, if a player's held up, does that attacking team retain possession back on the 5 metre line with the tap and go, like short arm free kick, or on the 22, where they get a free kick where they can tap and go. It would be nice to sort of see the attacking team still rewarded with possession and allowed to continue with their attacking phases, and the defending team have to figure out how to stop them, because the defending team could hold them up over the line multiple times. So there we go. That's my views on it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the 20-minute red card and the goal line dropout in the comments section below. But for me for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.